What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Draft.com studios. Today we're continuing our quick hitting series on buying or selling players at their current ADP. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. And before we get into this list, we're going to make it quick. Just a reminder, after this video is over, head over to our website, thefantasyheadliners.com. A lot of other great information to check out. And plus, our draft guide, which is what, Kyle? Hashtag...
It's hella fire.
Hella fire. You better believe it right now. And plus, if you purchase one of our draft guides, it'll enter you into a contest to win a free Alvin Kamara autographed jersey, the one hanging just over my shoulder. Do not miss out on that. Go get yourself a draft guide right now. But before we waste any more time, let's get into one of these quick-hitting shows, Kyle, and let's talk the fifth round right now and who we're buying and selling.
Well, let's kick off the fifth round with one of the most hyped names in fantasy football this offseason, Chris Godwin from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Bruce Arians came out about a week or so ago and said he doesn't want Godwin off the field ever, to which a lot of responses were, where is he going to play on defense? But all jokes aside. So Chris Godwin, he's going to be out there a lot, and I don't think he's going to top Mike Evans in terms of overall numbers. He's a guy that has legit wide receiver to upside, big playability. I expect a good year from him. I'll buy him in the fifth round.
I absolutely love Chris Godwin, and I guess he could play free safety. I mean, if they want to keep him out there, he's got the hands. I just think the opportunity he's going to have in this offense, he's going to play the slot the majority of the time, but he can also play on the outside. Like Arian said, he's not coming off the field. I want to be really bold and make this a bold prediction, saying that he outproduces Mike Evans this year. But I don't think so, because I really like Mike Evans a lot this year. I want a piece of this passing offense if I can get it. Either Evans or Godwin, great buys, and I'm definitely going to buy Godwin in the fifth round.
Our quarterback 2, Andrew Luck, comes in at 5.02. And to be completely honest with you, there's 3 quarterbacks in the fifth round here. And even though I like all 3 quarterbacks this season, I'm not buying quarterbacks this early. I've talked about it a ton on this channel. I'm a late QB guy. That's why I'm selling Andrew Luck. I think he is the QB 1 this year. Yep, he's number 1 in my rankings right now. So since he's going after Patrick Mahomes, it makes sense to buy him. But no, not me, because I want to take my quarterback another 2 or 3 rounds later.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting on quarterback also. There's too many other pieces here that can really solidify my roster as a whole, really build that core from the running back and wide receiver position. I love Andrew Luck, and like you said, I think he's going to have a great year, but too early for me in the fifth round. I would rather wait till the 7th, 8th round, maybe get a Matt Ryan or somebody like that.
5.03 Cooper Kupp, and he's a sell here for me. I know a lot of people are excited about him, but I mean, you've got 2 healthy guys coming off of basically wide receiver 1 production type seasons last year, and both Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods, and they're going only a few picks ahead of Cooper Kupp, which is real crazy to me. I know a lot of people like Kupp. I know he was really good when on the field last year, especially at the beginning of the year when he was like wide receiver 2 the first 3 weeks of the season or something like that. But it's going to take a while to come back from ACL surgery. It's going to take a while for him to be fully healthy. He's out there practicing right now, but 100% full go, no issues, no hamstring problem, nothing like that. We've got a few weeks, and I can't spend a 5th round pick on him because of that.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, if your draft is, right there before week 1, this may be something we revisit then, but he just tore his ACL in mid-November of last year. It's not like this is something that happened, week 1 of last season. He's had a chance to really recover. He hasn't. Yes, he's out there practicing. He's not on the PUP list. He looks good in practice, but we've seen this before just last year with Dalvin Cook. He was out there and all of a sudden tweaked a hammy, and it took a long time for him to really recover. That's something that Cooper Kupp could be dealing with here, and in my opinion, it's not worth the risk. I'll take the other 2 wide receivers from the Rams around early. I'll pass on Cooper Kupp in the 5th.
5.04, one of my favorite wide receiver values this year, Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks. And I know a lot of people are fading him, saying he can't do those touchdown numbers again. He's not Devontae Adams. I'm not comparing these two in that sense, but a lot of people said that about Devontae Adams a couple of years ago that say, hey, I can't buy him because he can't replicate those touchdown numbers. I know we don't want to go out there buying a bunch of touchdowns, but when the guy is the legitimate wide receiver 1 target on his team and you have one of the best deep passing quarterbacks in all the NFL, you buy him.
Yeah, I mean this is difficult for me. I don't think he's ever going to be one of these high reception PPR type of guys. He's going to need those big plays. My one concern is that some of those big plays, some of those go routes that he, got for long touchdowns last year, does DK Metcalf steal a couple of those this year? It's possible. A lot of people think that that's all he can do is run the go route. And if that's the case, maybe it does limit some of the touchdown upside for Tyler Lockett. But with Doug Baldwin no longer there, I think Tyler Lockett still has enough to be a wide receiver 2. At this point, a low-end wide receiver 2 maybe, but the upside is huge. I'm going to buy Lockett also.
I feel like I just need to reiterate, I am not comparing Devontae Adams to Tyler Lockett.
I can see it in the comment section already.
He's not a wide receiver 1 for me. Devontae Adams is my wide receiver 1. I'm just comparing basically the argument against Devontae Adams from a couple of years ago. So, again, they're not the same player, people. Don't hate. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Don't get butthurt out there.
5.05 Kenyon Drake. And I know a lot of people are all over Ballage right now saying, oh, he's getting the first team reps. Listen, people, I don't care. It's the first, second week of training camp right now.
Talking about practice.
We're talking about practice. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care about that. Let him run with the ones all he wants to. At worst, this is going to be potentially a 50-50 type split, but even last year, Kenyon Drake finished as a decent running back 2 in PPR leagues, even with Frank Gore taking away a bunch of touches with him. I don't expect him to lose that many touches this year. I'll take him at this spot.
Part of me just wants to think that they're putting him out there with the number 1s to see what they have. What do they have with Kalen Ballage? If he's constantly running with the 2s and the 3s, maybe they just can't get a good understanding for what kind of role he fits. Throw him out there with the 1s. Let's see what he can do, and we'll go from there. Kenyon Drake is by far the more efficient running back and the bigger playmaker. Kalen Ballage struggled getting things going last year. He had one big run, but outside of that, really struggled. Kenyon Drake, he can move the chains. He's going to be the starting running back of the Miami Dolphins in some case. He may not be out there under center or behind the quarterback the very first play of the game, but he's going to get the bulk of the snaps. I'm still buying Kenyon Drake.
5.06 Calvin Ridley. Big fan of his this year. I think he can take even a little bit more of a step forward than what we saw last year. That offense is going to be really, really good again. And I've heard some people say, well, are we worried with Devontae Freeman being fully healthy if that's going to take some targets away? If it takes some targets away from someone, I think it's going to be like Mohamed Sanu or Austin Hooper. I don't think it's going to be from Calvin Ridley. Dealing with a little bit of a hamstring issue right now, so be careful with him. I'll still buy him right now, but if that continues to linger, then we need to talk about pushing him back some.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. We need to watch this because I would imagine the majority of your drafts aren't for a few weeks. I want to see him be a 100% full go, no limitations before I even think about drafting him. These soft tissue injuries can just linger at times, and if they don't heal properly, the last thing you want to do is deal with this on a weekly basis. He's always showing up in the injury report, and you never know if you can count on him or not. Just give it a few weeks with Calvin Ridley, but as long as he's 100%, yeah, I'm buying him also.
5.07 OJ Howard, one of my favorite tight end targets this year. The guy not only has the red zone ability to go get those touchdowns, but he's got big playability as well. I mean, this is a guy that's averaged 16 yards per reception since entering the league. This is a team that's going to throw it a lot. They're going to throw it deep a lot. And OJ Howard is a great fit in this offensive scheme. I expect big things out of him this year. I'm going to buy him here.
Yeah, I'm all about the deep balls, Kyle, and he's definitely somebody who could produce on a weekly basis. It worries me a little bit with him coming off an injury if he's going to be a clear 100%. But with as thin as the tight end position is this season in fantasy football, every once in a while you have to take a little bit of a risk. Sometimes you got to do it a little bit earlier. The 5th round, OJ Howard, it's a slight risk, but I'm still buying him in the 5th.
Yeah. And all of these ADPs are based on half-point PPR data from Fantasy Football Calculator. And that's why I just want to mention that, because with James White coming in next, I'm going to sell him here just because I would buy him if it was a full point PPR league, but with it being half a point, I'm going to just bump him back a little bit. He's a guy that I would say maybe 6th round because I'm going to lose some of those points there. I like James White. I've even said that he's the guy to buy from that New England backfield. However, I don't really want to buy him at this ADP right now.
To me, it all depends on your roster construction. If you have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers or something right now, and he's going to be your 3rd option, I don't hate it. There's so many, targets up for grabs in New England. No more Gronk. I mean, we don't know if Josh Gordon's going to play. More than likely, probably not. I mean, there's some openings there for him, and we already know he's going to be one of the favorite targets of Tom Brady. Like I said, though, it all depends on what I have on my current roster. If he's going to have to be my running back 2, I'm passing. I'm selling it. But if I can have him as my weekly start as a flex play, I'll buy James White there.
Astute observation, Jake.
Well, thank you.
5.09 Aaron Rodgers. I already said it with Andrew Luck. I'm not buying any quarterbacks in this round because I'm waiting on them. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's in for a good year. However, not good enough for me to buy him here.
If I'm not going to buy Andrew Luck, I'm not going to buy Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
They're both going to have decent years, but no, I'm still waiting. Selling quarterbacks here in the 5th.
Yep. Mike Williams coming in at 5.10. And Jake, we might disagree on this one a little bit. So Mike Williams, I know a lot of people are excited about him. I know he has the talent to be a good NFL wide receiver. And it's not that I doubt the talent. I think he's going to be super touchdown dependent. I think he's going to be a touchdown dependent wide receiver too. Keenan Allen is going to be the main target there. I think Hunter Henry is going to make a huge impact this year. And Melvin Gordon, that's still up in the air a lot. Now, if you have Melvin Gordon and he is playing, and you also have Austin Eckler, that's basically 2 running backs that you have to commit targets to because both of those guys are going to see targets. But are we going to see Melvin Gordon back? And that's why this one is a little bit in flux for me. I'm not buying him here because I am concerned about him. But if we get to week 1 or we get to the final week of the preseason and you haven't drafted yet, and we know at that time Gordon's going to be out for a little bit, then I might invest in him here. But for right now, Mike Williams is still going to be a sell for me.
I mean, I look at it this way. Last season, he finished as wide receiver 30 in PPR leagues, and he only had 66 targets. I mean, he was 3rd among wide receivers with fantasy points per target with 2.70 points per target. And now there's 110 vacated targets with the Chargers. No more Tyrell Williams. I'm buying Mike Williams because I think the upside is still there. I mean, they can't throw it to Keenan Allen every single time. We love Hunter Henry. We love it. He's going to get an uptick in targets, but he's also doesn't have to worry about Antonio Gates anymore. So he's just going to kind of adopt those targets, a little bit of this 110, and the rest is going to be going towards Mike Williams. If he can get close to 100 targets this year, he's easily a wide receiver too, in my opinion. I'm buying him in the 5th.
I'll give him 80 targets, but I don't know if I can give him much more than that. However, I love the argument, and it makes a ton of sense. And that's why I don't want to fully argue that with you because I agree with some of it as well.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, Kyle. You got to pick.
I can do whatever I want to.
Right.
So this is your show. You do whatever you want to. Shawn Watson coming in at 5.11. Again, selling him, not buying any quarterbacks here. Love him. Love that offense. Offensive line's a little bit better, but nope. Get out.
Yep, nope. Passing 5th round quarterback. No, thank you. I'm waiting once again.
And let's round out the 5th round with Mr. Cohen from the Chicago Bears getting proper there. But anyway, Mr. Cohen, that's what I'm going to start calling him, from the Chicago Bears. What's going to happen with Cohen this year? We've already talked about David Montgomery, correct? So is he going to get the same amount of targets that he had last year? I think David Montgomery works his way into some of that workload that Cohen saw. That's why I'm going to sell him here. I'd rather try to have him a round or 2 later at this point.
Yep, I think David Montgomery takes just enough of that passing volume to kind of knock Tarik Cohen down a little bit. And I think people, if you go into 2019 expecting 2018 production, you're going to be disappointed. I'm going to sell Tarik Cohen here. There's still a couple other running backs that I'd rather take a chance on in the later rounds. I don't have that warm fuzzy on the inside if I have to start Tarik Cohen to start the year. I just don't have it yet. I like the offense, the potential offense. David Montgomery just scares me a little bit. I'm going to pass and sell on Tarik Cohen here in the 5th round. But that wraps up the 5th round, unless you had something else, Kyle.
I was just going to say, Mr. Cohen sounds like the guy you call when you need a favor handled.
Wow, that was dark. All right, well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this show. Thank you for watching another episode here, buying or selling players at their current ADP in the 5th round. If you got a few extra minutes, head over to our website, thefantasyheadliners.com. A lot of other great information, and get that draft guide. Get yourself entered to win an Alvin Kamara jersey. Once again, though, we like to be as interactive as possible. We try to answer every question, every comment on every single video. We're going to be doing that with this one also. Throw a comment down below. Ask a question about a player. Maybe you have a differing opinion. Let's hear it. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure we're all on the same page so we can all dominate fantasy football here in 2019. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.